Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt, and on today's episode, it is the gifted recap of episode 7 of season 1. So here we go. Overall, I'm pretty lukewarm about this episode. There were some parts that I really liked and some parts that just kind of bored me. We had kind of three-ish plots, like main plots that were going on in this episode. It starts off with Marcos taking the call from his cartel ex-girlfriend, whatever her name is, like Marietta or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, he's talking to her and he's saying that he doesn't want to do what he owes her, and then she's like, well, you got to. So he sneaks off the next day, trying to get more supplies, but he's actually going to do this thing with the drug cartel. And basically what they do is they just want to threaten the Russians who are kind of moving in on the territory, and they want to blow up their entire thing of drugs, which happens. And I just kept thinking, when all of the drugs blew up, I'm like, that's a lot of drugs to have in the air. They might not necessarily all be safe breathing in that air, because it's not like they weren't close. They were very close to this blowing up, especially if it's cocaine. If cocaine's being blown up, it's still going to be in the air. And you can't have that much cocaine going through your system, right? Is that how drugs work? I wouldn't know. Anyway, Lorna, aka Polaris, kind of figures out what's going on because she is a little worried why he has not returned from his supply trip yet, and calls the other people. They don't have any supplies to give, and they haven't seen Marcos at all, so she kind of does some sleuthing, and she finds that his old necklace with the patron saint of death or whatever is missing, so she kind of just concludes that that's where they went. And so her and Dreamer go off and try to find the location of where they are all at. And a really nice, cool scene of Lorna basically threatening two armed guards, and then Dreamer having to take the memory away from one of them to figure out what's going on. And then they go, and then she sees Marco basically blow the whole thing up, and you kind of see him almost enjoying it in a way. Which I'm assuming scares him because he left the cartel for something, and then also really pisses off Lorna. She just decides to not meddle, go back home, wait for him, and yell at him about everything. Now, I'm not particularly happy with this whole thing of them just not communicating very well, considering they're having a kid and they're supposed to be in love. Why don't you guys just trust each other and talk to each other? I understand that Lauren is a hothead, but I think she would probably forgive that over all of the lying. But also, just Lorna, calm down, listen to him, and be like, okay, we're gonna fix this. Still pissed at you, but I'm not gonna be doing this storm raging off type thing. So it's pretty lukewarm about that plot of the episode. And then you have this sort of secondary plot where it involves the younger daughter of the Strucker family and her sort of love interest that just kind of popped up last episode, and finding out that he has a record of petty theft and grand theft and all of this stuff, which seemed like they were overreacting a little bit. I mean, is it really that hard to believe that a mutant kid gets involved with the wrong people? And he's obviously not doing that now. He's just trying to get out of there. That's why he's at the mutant underground and not still with these people. And they're kind of treating it like he murdered somebody in a way. They're really harsh on it. Especially, I think her name is Lauren, the daughter Strucker lady. When her dad comes up to him and is like, I have this police report of your sort of boyfriend guy that you're kind of seeing hanging around with, and look at all the stuff they did. And she gets really mad at him for even suggesting it, but then she goes directly to him. It's like, we need to talk. My dad found an old police report with all this stuff. And then he tells her the truth and tries to tell her what happened, and she just freaks out and runs away. I'm like, guys, you guys are literally mutant underground rebels right now. Petty theft and grand theft, I understand. They're bad. They're bad. But you guys just need to talk, and you guys need to understand that not everybody comes from this Strucker household where they have a loving family. I just need a little slap in the face to some of these people. Anyway, Daddy Strucker decides to go and kind of have a heart-to-heart with this kid and see where he's coming from, and the kid decides to talk to the leaders of this group. None of them are there. It's the secondary leaders, the chick who can take in the data information, who's been working with Daddy Strucker who kind of like vets everybody, all the mutants in, and like decides who can come in and who can't. He decides to tell her, and they decide to go easy on him, forgive him, because he came out, and so he goes and he tells the whole Strucker family, and then he also tells them that he's leaving. And then at the end of the episode, we have Lauren racing up to him, kissing him, and then he just leaves. I was like, oh, okay, I guess he's going to stay now. Nope. He leaves on a van to wherever they're going, and who knows if we're ever going to see him again. That seemed like a weird end to that whole thing. It was a 2-episode plot involving a love interest for Lauren. That leaves. I'm almost assuming that van is going to be like taken control of by Sentinel Services by some sort, because this guy was sort of on their hit list of mutants that they might be targeting, and so maybe he's going to become one of the Sentinel Services undercover people. I don't know. I'm just assuming. And then I guess we had 4 plot points in this, because we go to the Sentinel Services part of it, where the guy is still really pissed about the whole taking of the memory things, and he's kind of working with this sort of evil doctor who just like really came out of nowhere, like he's been there, but like he's evil. Anyway, they decide to do some pretty illegal stuff to try to catch these mutants, and someone from Sentinel Services is not having it. They're having like a big meeting talking about it, and it turns out the doctor is using a mutant to really just fake a death almost. As soon as she's gaining ground and like saying all of this stuff, how this can't happen and it's illegal and all of that, he basically like signals to his mutant guy, and he like pops a blood vessel in her brain or something like that and makes it seem like she's having a stroke, I guess. I don't think that's how strokes look like, in my opinion, but I wouldn't know. I mean, really, I'm not a doctor. Anyway, he is a doctor, so he's like, give her some space, let's call the ambulance. She doesn't die, but she's probably not going to be on her feet anytime soon, so therefore they get a little bit more time to go on with their illegal activities, and the big bad Sentinel guy is kind of not having it, but kind of is okay with it because of his daughter being dead, and the doctor dude is kind of like rubbing it in his face, like, this is what your daughter would want. It's like, you didn't know this little girl, you have no clue. She could have turned out to be a mutant too. No one knows. So that's happening, but my favorite plot point of this whole episode is how Thunderbird decides to go off and find Clarice, and they have like this nice little like adventure together where, well, it's not really that nice. It's kind of depressing. But Clarice is trying to find that road that she kept going back to when it came to the second episode, where she was kind of really sick and her powers were going out of control. She kept portaling to this one road, and she was trying to find it. She wasn't having very much luck, and he finds her very easily, even though he says it's very hard. He does it very fast, like within a scene. And so he gives her some advice, like, where does home feel like to you? Because that's probably near where you were kind of portaling to. She remembers this sort of like mutant orphanage that she spent some time in her teenage years, and she goes and she finds that place, this little farmhouse, which is super cute. I don't know how they had an orphanage, because it didn't seem very big. Like, where were all these kids staying? But she finds that Sentinel Services has found this and rated it as a sort of safe house to the mutant underground in a way, and she finds that there are some blood puddles in the kitchen, and it's most likely the mom and dad characters that were kind of taking care of her and all of the other kids dead. So that happened, and you know, Thunderbird and Clarice had some moments. I think they're leaning towards a pretty big little love triangle happening. Because you know what? I'm going to say this. The hugs that Thunderbird was giving Clarice to console her were like really intimate kind of hugs. They were like holding the back of your head kind of hugs. Like, you only give to somebody you really know really well, who's like in a lot of pain. It wasn't just like a hug of this person you really just met. Like, you don't know her very well. So I think we're kind of going towards that. They come back to the Mutant Underground. He's kind of dating Dreamer at the moment, even though they weren't dating until like last episode. And yeah, he didn't seem very happy with having to go with Dreamer. I don't know where they're going with this. Are they going to move fast towards the love triangle or what? So needless to say, like, I really liked the stuff with Thunderbird and Clarice. I just really like the character of Thunderbird. I want to know more about him. Also, the opening scene, the flashback scene, is where Thunderbird and Polaris are kind of recruiting Marcos when he was still in the cartel. And I liked that quite a bit. I love those opening scenes. I really do. Like, they really add a lot to everything about the show. Anyway, I'm still enjoying the show. It's a bit slow for my taste, but we'll see where they go. I know that the ratings aren't crazy good right now, but that's kind of expected. This is a genre show of superheroes that people feel the superhero fatigue right now, even though I don't think that. But I think a lot of people who watch a lot of TV don't really want that in TV. They like their procedurals. They like watching their NCIS or whatever. And I don't know. I wish that a little bit more of the like movie fans of these universes would really band together and watch these, because some of them are very good and deserve a little bit more eyes on it. And The Gifted is pretty good. Like, for being network television, for being Fox, like, it's pretty good. It can be annoying at times, and I don't like these sort of stereotypes of not talking to each other and being in fights for reasons that would have been solved by communicating or by, just calming down. But you know what? Not my show. I'm not showrunner on this. I don't write it. I just watch it, and I'll keep watching it for the rest of the season unless they really piss me off. Okay, I hope you guys liked this review. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what are your thoughts on this season so far. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I make videos Monday through Friday. Yes, you got 2 today. You got Thor Ragnarok and this recap episode because I didn't put anything out on Monday, so I gave you 2. So you're welcome. Bye.